Oakland Community College, sexist, bogus mental health care witch hunt. Postponed delayed open sentencing scheduled for June 1st, 2018. Original delayed open sentencing court date May 18th, 2018. 49th Judicial Circuit Court, Osceola County, Reed City, Michigan. Case number 175261-FH. This is Gina Fournier, and today is May 21st. I'm preparing. Dear Honorable Judge Booher, this is the second version of my statement, apparently called Allocution. I wish I had the opportunity to read my original statement to counterbalance the complainant's allocution. The first version that I prepared for May 18th, 2018 was posted on YouTube because of my need to advocate and protect myself. I use social media for one purpose, to try and save my life from a lack of equal protection by the state of Michigan for crimes committed against me since 2013, including perjury committed by the complainant and the complainant's spouse in 2017 and 2018. I believe the evidence is clear, though the charge is large. In retaliation for redressing the state government, particularly the Attorney General, the state's top law enforcement officer, I've been criminalized by the Michigan State Police instead of protected. Please hear me as I try in earnest to make sense of this mess. The attempted stalking charge today only exists and is thoroughly connected to unprosecuted criminal action by Oakland Community College beginning in 2013. This full story is way too long to share today, but I hope to package it for you clearly and succinctly as possible. Alone, without resources, I have tried to fight peacefully and legally for years. The complainant and the complainant's spouse have committed perjury, slandered my name, and dug the hole of this mess even deeper. Please accept that I would apologize for stalking, harassing, and threatening the complainant if I had intended for some twisted reason to ruin the complainant's life, but honestly, respectfully, I did not. The complainant and the complainant's spouse have lied at this point extensively and repeatedly about me. Documented liars can do two things. One, stop. Two, continue. The complainant and the complainant's spouse chose number two, continue. They lied in court on May 18th during allocution to cover their lies to the court under oath made during the PPO hearing a year ago, to the police, and in the written victim statement in the pre-sentence investigation report. Furthermore, they have demonstrated an inappropriate relationship with my former employer, Oakland Community College, with whom I have outstanding mounting legal claims. Based on the complainant's testimony, I surmise that unwittingly, the complainant has been recruited by William McQueen and Terry McCauley, named by the complainant under oath during the Personal Protection Order hearing 17-14923-FH May 8th, 2017, to aid the college's effort to silence my critical voice. Based on their willingness to lie about me, the complainant and the complainant's spouse have involved themselves in the criminal activity of what I call the Oakland Community College sexist, bogus mental health care witch hunt. The complainant is or was also employed by the same college. The complainant spouse confirmed employment with Oakland Community College during a conversation in which I was speaking in a normal voice to the complainant's spouse, who was standing on the complainant's property while I stood in the road. I was not screaming. I have never screamed at any member of the complainant's household at any time. Though I've come up north since 2002, I didn't notice people at the complainant's house until 2015, when I moved up north after foreclosure downstate. The only reason I've sought to communicate with the complainant's household since that time is because I wanted to know if the household was connected to Oakland Community College, if and when the household called police regarding my panic attacks, which I have inside my home. No other neighbors admitted to making the calls. As a police officer for the college, the complainant's top supervisor would be Terry McCauley, the Oakland Community College top cop. Terry McCauley should have been prosecuted for crimes he committed against me in 2013 and 2014. Terry McCauley suicide swatted me with malicious criminal fake reports of suicide and fake reports of potential dangerous violent behavior twice at the request of the school's Human Resource Chief Officer, William McQueen. Much evidence, obtained in part through the Freedom of Information Act and testimony in Oakland County Administrative Court, plus other professional sources, exists to back my claims and has been posted on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter since 2012, and also presented to state officials multiple times through the mail. Through William McQueen and Terry McCauley, Oakland Community College supplied the complainant with malicious misinformation about me that the complainant voluntarily repeated under oath at the PPO hearing, and upon which the complainant has built a network of falsehoods. Here's the first page of the transcripts. I hope someone please investigates. The transcripts from the PPO hearing last year should have been investigated by Michigan State Police, for they contain many contradictions and clearly connect Oakland Community College to the complainant. With coaching by the college, the complainant sought to slander me and label me crazy dangerous. One way the complainant did this is by misrepresenting a PPO hearing held in Wayne County back in 2012 between me and my husband, who it turned out was dying. Acute trouble arose in our marriage caused by the school's attack on our lives, which had been launched that spring by William McQueen. Both my husband and I realized that my job and our financial future were in peril. What the complainant didn't say was that I was granted a PPO against my husband, who was acting erratically before his unexpected death. I specifically asked the court to prevent my husband from talking to William McQueen, and that request was granted. The complainant did not make clear to this courtroom, Your Honor, in Osceola County last year that on November 1st, 2012, in Wayne County Probate Court, downstate, my sick husband's retaliatory request, with rather crazy concerns about me poisoning him and setting fire to the house, were denied because they were unreasonable. Whew. My poor husband died soon after, on December 26, 2012, in Garden City Hospital from a pre-existing long-term illness and stress due to the attack on our lives. We were separated the last 10 weeks of our marriage. Also improperly misdirected by the college, the complainant brought up the name of Dr. Howard Friedman, a for-hire hostile shrink I was forced to attend 6 years ago in December 2012. Dr. Howard Friedman was the second of 2 hostile hack shrinks paid by Oakland Community College to support the school's attack designed to silence my critical voice. Please notice how long I've been enduring character assassination without responding with violent retribution, because I am not violent. Back in May 2012, when the attack on my career and name was launched by the college, I was accused by William McQueen of being potential school shooter material, even though I had no record of violence and men are more likely to commit violent crime. As reported in the news, while we were in Osceola County Court 2 weeks ago, another horrible, murderous school shooting took place. You can't imagine the pain I've endured the last 6 years through way too many school shootings as I've tried to clear my name from malicious character assassination and bogus and sometimes criminal mental health care. I'm not crazy dangerous, and I'm not guilty as charged. Your Honor, please follow the recommended guidelines and impose 0 months probation. Please don't deny me medical marijuana because my body hurts. Please don't deny me computer use because it's the only way to market my writing and illustration. Online connection, particularly via social media accounts, is also the main channel for seeking justice and redressing the state of Michigan for not prosecuting serious violent crimes committed against me by Oakland Community College, which set me up with Livonia Police and then St. Mary Mercy Catholic Hospital in Livonia, Michigan. Most importantly, do not impose additional jail time, please. This is an outlandish but true story of extreme and prolonged sexist torture, which I do not say lightly. I am sane. I understand what is going on. If jailed today, I would be locked up again in a mental ward for panic attacks, which would no doubt transpire. Your Honor, I do not need to be locked up by the state, not in jail or a loony bin, essentially because I was locked up illegally in a mental ward in the past due to suicide swatting by Oakland Community College, whose officials plied the complainant with false information about me, which the complainant accepted, repeated, and enlarged. Within my fight for justice, I have tried to stay within the guidelines of the PPO and bond. I have not knowingly and purposely named the complainant online, and I have not knowingly and purposely posted his name and address. Certainly, I must have some rights to free speech in order to defend myself. In all this mess, please remember there is zero evidence that I'm violent. As a writer and former English teacher, I am verbal. I post on social media to seek justice for crimes committed against me, including perjury committed by the complainant, which must be my right to do somehow. Metaphorically, as an artist and feminist, I've used the slogan, "Jesus raped me," since 2015. Literally, what this means is that on February 22nd, 2013, I was suicide swatted with purposely false reports of suicide by my former employer, the complainant's employer, Oakland Community College. On a day I posted on Facebook, I was trying to save my life from the school's attack. When they stop torturing me, I will stop posting. They have not stopped torturing me. As a result of purposely false police reports by OCC's Terry McCauley, I was police abducted from my home by ill-trained officers exhibiting societal sexism and illegally locked up for a week without any initial evaluation as required by law. I was held in a Catholic mental ward built and run by a church I rejected as a child. I never met on the day I was locked up or the week that followed one of the doctors, Dr. Andrew Mrzajka, who signed one of two bogus clinical certificates submitted to Wayne County Probate Court, as the hospital paperwork shows. To cover police mishandling and likely embarrassment, Officer Owen Keaton of Livonia Police also lied in paperwork submitted to the court. He said I asked repeatedly for the police to kill me, which I did not do. Honestly, respectfully, I've met a few lying cops, doctors, and teachers during this ordeal. I realize some or many in this conservative area may be alarmed by my intense language. People don't immediately understand my anger. Onlookers can't imagine the pain of being violated by the church that raised you with the support of your own government. When I post, my only intention is to utilize my First Amendment rights to redress the state of Michigan for lack of equal protection and for, in effect, establishing laws to protect the Catholic Church from criminal prosecution. Free speech says my use of vulgar metaphor to highlight vulgar action is legal and protected. Intellectually, equal protection says I deserve justice, or every American, every Michigander, including the complainant and the complainant's spouse, must be metaphorically raped by Jesus like me. I realize the sensitivity of this phrase. During rape, the vagina can be injured, sliced, ripped, and that's exactly what's been done to my life. I've been impoverished, isolated, immobilized, silenced, criminalized, dehumanized. The police report from my August 25, 2017 arrest and the pre-sentencing investigation report contain a Twitter post from the summer of 2017 in which I wish Catholic Jesus rape upon the complainant's spouse because of her lies about me and the damage they've caused. The complainant read that old post in court 2 weeks ago, May 18, 2018, as if it were an additional post not already in the record. Please note, to non-believers like me, of course, there is no physical Catholic Jesus. That language was panic attack, metaphor, and mostly civil protest. Sometimes I erase especially intense panic attack posts. Sometimes I don't have internet connection for a while and forget. I apologize to the complainant's spouse if my metaphor posted last summer between PPO and arrest was misunderstood, but the complainant's spouse should not have lied about me so outrageously and callously. Will they ever be held accountable for their lies? This unwieldy and unpleasant story is very difficult to tell anyone. Because of my story, I use vulgar religious curses, sometimes in strings as long as the Catholic Mass, to allude to the No Establishment Clause and to manage post-traumatic stress disorder and isolation caused by the crimes I've endured without justice or acknowledgement from the state of Michigan, which make it unsafe for me to seek traditional treatment. My anger, I feel, is reasonable. The public acceptance of my Catholic attackers in greater society is inescapable and unlivable without justice. Ironically, I carry a copy of the U.S. Constitution given to me as a student at Ladywood High School, which shares ground with St. Mary Mercy Catholic Hospital. Thank you, Mr. Schmidt, in government class. I was illegally detained without evaluation, feet away from my underwhelming, sexist, all-girl Catholic high school. Yet the church that raised me has refused to advocate for me, even within its own organization. Like the Michigan State University victims of Larry Nassar, I need acknowledgement of the criminal actions that have happened to me and to clear the character assassination from my name, to which the complainant and the complainant spouse have added what feels like insurmountable damage. I was never suicidal. I am not crazy dangerous, not a school shooter, not a murderer, not an arsonist. If I were suicidal in 2013, I would certainly be dead now in 2018. As well, if I were physically dangerous, there would be police record. The complainant during allocution said I was dangerous without any evidence. I argue in order to cover the complainant's lies and to save face as a police officer. I am a danger to the complainant's reputation, as the complainant knows he has been lying. The complainant is a lying cop. The prosecutor said he's never heard a police officer admit to fear. I argue the prosecutor has perhaps never heard a cop lie so boldly. This situation has grown completely out of control. The victim's statement in the pre-sentence investigation report supplied by the complainant's spouse, who did not seek a personal protection order, says I continued to harass, but that's not true. The allocution supplied by the complainant and the complainant's spouse repeated their old allegations and added nothing new, though they manipulated the court to make it seem I had not learned any lessons. Your Honor, I swear I have never stood in the complainant's driveway and screamed at people. Never. Not before or after 35 days in the Osceola County Jail. No witnesses apart from this married couple have corroborated the false claim that I stand in the street and wait for the complainant and the complainant's spouse to come out of their house so I can scream at them. There is one road around Lake Miramichi. If I was in the habit for a couple of years of standing in the street and waiting to yell at them, other neighbors and residents would have noticed and complained, but that hasn't happened. People don't like me yelling inside my house, but they've never seen me do it in the street at these people. Many people walk and drive golf carts and ATVs around the lake. No honest witness can support the complainant's claim. Remember the complainant's testimony at the PPO hearing referring to my husband and poisoning, a slanderous notion supplied by the college? On August 12, 2017, after the PPO, before my arrest, I stood in my own driveway painting my signs while the complainant screamed at me from the complainant's driveway saying I poisoned and killed my husband. Working as a team, the complainant's spouse videotaped me singing Peacenik and former Beatle John Lennon's Power to the People. Power to the people, power to the people, power to the people, power to the people, right on. Honestly afraid, I called the police to report that I was being harassed. Mecosta County Sergeant Jason Kopke, complaint number 452717. Here's the original business card. I have a FOIA request for the 911 call it out right now. Later, the complainant's spouse told Michigan State Police the pictures were taken in the complainant's driveway and that I was screaming at them. Based on this lie, I was arrested. Trooper Brittany Campbell was likely too young to recognize the song. This is a dispute between neighbors, perhaps with neither party being model citizens, but the complainant is a danger to me, not the other way around. Like the complainant misrepresented the PPO action downstate in 2012 between me and my now deceased husband, the complainant spouse also manipulated the truth. The complainant spouse omitted from allocution that the complainant's dog first bit my dog, after which I said of course we would stay away from her vicious dog, who chased my dog home and bit him on my property through his thick German Shepherd coat. The attack was so vicious the complainant's spouse jumped on an ATV to stop her own dog. The complainant wasn't present. Prior to the PPO, for about 15 years, I walked on the road around their house with and without my husband because I'm a dog walker. I didn't walk on their property, on the perimeter, as suggested solely to watch them. I didn't even know they existed until recently. In April 2017, the complainant's spouse videotaped me in the road gathering wood in a wheelbarrow to keep warm with my dog because the complainant spouse didn't like my dog off leash, not because the complainant spouse was afraid, harassed, or stalked. I whipped the bird. The dog maintained model behavior. Why was the complainant spouse filming me from inside the complainant's house while I was walking by on the street minding my own business? When asked forthrightly from the road, not yelling, around Labor Day weekend in 2016, the complainant spouse would not admit to me that the household called the police about my panic attacks at home inside my house. However, under oath in the courtroom in May 2017, during the PPO hearing, the complainant said members of the complainant's family did call the police about my panic attacks at home inside my house multiple times. Welfare checks are dangerous due to lack of police training, and especially dangerous for me are welfare checks connected to Oakland Community College. At one point, when the complainant's spouse confirmed that the complainant was a cop employed by Oakland Community College, a man in the complainant's backyard flew a drone over my house. Yes, I swear. Whew. When asked forthrightly, the complainant spouse denied what was plain to see, and instead the complainant spouse called me crazy with no cause. I videotaped the complainant spouse in return for the complainant spouse videotaping me in order to document the strange and hostile behavior of the complainant spouse. I never even met the complainant until the PPO hearing. Honestly, I was and still am very afraid of the complainant's household and was surprised to find the notice in the mail about the complainant requesting a PPO against me. Naturally, I am extremely upset about what has transpired during this past year. The complainant's unsubstantiated lies have made my unbearable life even more unbearable. The complainant during allocution said additional complaints were made to the Michigan State Police alleging that I broke the PPO, which expired in November 2017, and the bond, but is the complainant lying? The complainant has boasted about being a decorated 30-year veteran cop. Shouldn't the complainant better understand how to report a violation successfully? Perhaps the Michigan State Police realize the complainant has been lying. If I was violating the PPO or the bond, I didn't realize it. I have posted court documents in my defense and tried to consistently erase the complainant's name. I asked my attorney for guidelines about what I could say, and he suggested I could use approximations like minions. If I violated the PPO, I should have been informed immediately. Backtracking on a signed plea deal isn't fair game. Shouldn't the prosecutor have checked with the complainant at some point between my arrest in August 2017 and the plea deal signed and filed in court in March 2018 before agreeing to it? This story is larger than this case. Hopefully I'm making the connections underlying this charge clear. OCC's William McQueen is intelligent enough to use other people, like the complainant, to get to me because I've objected and fought back against his attack all these years. Still, the complainant and the complainant's spouse voluntarily lied and fabricated false concerns, such as the slanderous notion contained in the PPO transcripts that I would burn down the complainant's house. Disturbingly, the complainant's allegations appear to be accepted as truth because the complainant is a police officer. The Michigan State Police should have better investigated the complainant's claims before arresting me. Michigan State Police, including co-arresting officer Norma Naylor, have cherry-picked through my social media accounts since at least 2015, when the Attorney General sent police, including Norma Naylor, to my Everett home to harass me, when the Attorney General refused in writing to investigate my claims. The evidence I've gathered suggests strongly that state officials have avoided the massive documentation I've posted to support my claims in order to mislabel me dangerously mentally ill, harass me with numerous dangerous additional bogus welfare checks, and charge me with this felony. For example, I've used Dr. Andrew Mazaich's picture and signature on his bogus clinical certificate for years as my Facebook page main pictures. Yet state officials have ignored it, and stacks of documentation posted under it and mailed to them, including the complete certificate. I've never met this guy. Meanwhile, in fall 2017, I received directly through Gmail multiple outright threats of rape and death, shared with my appointed attorney's office, which the Michigan State Police have completely ignored despite my attempts to inform them and open a police report. The content of threatening emails suggests a connection with the Oakland Community College attack on my life. Here's one suggesting rape, and here's one talking about his college career. Someone using the name Jeff Morgan. I wish things were much, much nicer. Please know that getting flowers from me isn't dangerous. When I gave the complainant's household flowers prior to the PPO request, it was an honest gesture, an olive branch of peace intended to ease relations between neighbors. Every student in my classroom got a smiley face on their paper. I am who I say I am. I simply want and need peace and justice to be able to survive. In contrast to the victim's statement, supplied by the complainant's spouse, my house, not the complainant's house, is up for sale due to the lack of justice I have received, which has caused severe, possibly permanent impoverishment. My deceased husband's family bought the Lake Miramichi property in the late 1960s, so my actual loss is tremendously painful. The complainant and the complainant's spouse have lied to this court about not being able to use their home due to fear. I still hear noise, people, vehicles coming from their property. In the years since initiating this mess, I surmise they've realized that if someone wanted to figure out where they live, it could be done based on my own address, which I've posted online within multiple letters multiple times over the years of this larger story. In addition, the complainant displays additional self-identification as a police sympathizer. The complainant claims fear of cop killers. I'm afraid of lying cops with greater reason. However, the complainant was not required to lie and start this mess. Respectfully, I don't deserve a felony on my record, and I didn't deserve to go to jail for 35 days. Please honor the plea deal and follow the recommendations and impose 0 months probation. My life has been ruined. Please again take into consideration that I have no record of violence. The complainant and the complainant's family were never in danger and were likely never actually afraid. Once they started lying, they kept lying to save face, look at the lack of evidence, my record free of violence, and follow the guidelines of due process and equal protection. Please honor the plea deal and do not send me back to jail. Thank you, Gina Fournier.